Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad to be back with you again in your homes. I'm sure you missed me for the last couple of Saturdays. I miss you too. Tonight is my first show after the August festival celebrations. While I was somewhat pleased with the celebrations this year, there were still some areas in which we can improve. But nonetheless, that is not going to be my topic this evening. We are getting down close to the elections, and we need to discuss and dialogue one with the other so that we can understand the importance of our vote and our voting. And because of that, I have observed that the more I listen to the people, the more I listen to my people, the more I hear the words deceitful, liars, frauds, cheaters, hypocrites. But the most commonly heard of all the words are white envelopes. BVI Landers, your votes are some of your most important and precious jewels. Do not trample them under your feet. I admonish you to use them wisely. None of us is perfect. We all have the same common needs of air, water, food, and shelter. To satisfy our needs, we must all work hard. We live in a world that is divided into many independent nations and many dependencies. The BVI is not an independent nation. Although we are a territory under the United Kingdom, we are still, except for security and defense, a self-governing people. What is so important about governing? Every country, state, territory, or dependency must be governed if its people are to be successful. Government is truly not a new world order, nor a new world system. It goes right back to the beginning of time. If you go back to my favorite psalm, you will find that Psalms 8 explains it well. And I'm going to read it for you. Psalm 8 reads, O Lord, how excellent is thy name in all the earth, who has set thy glory above the heavens. Out of the mouth of babes and sucklings hast thou ordained strength because of thine enemies, that thou mightest still the enemy and the avenger. When I consider the heavens, the work of thy fingers, the moon, the stars, which thou hast ordained, what is man, that thou art mindful of him, and the Son of Man, that thou visitest him? For thou hast made him a little lower than the angels, and hast crowned him with glory and honor. Thou madest him to have dominion over the works of thy hands. Thou hast put all things under his feet, all sheep and oxen, yea, and the beast of the field, the fowl of the air, and the fish of the sea, and whatsoever passeth through the paths of the seas. O Lord, how excellent is thy name in all the earth. In this psalm, ladies and gentlemen, I can see governance, where God has put everything in this world under the control and governance of mankind. And it's our governance, our good governance, that is in fact going to result in our own success. Now we'll continue with what I've prepared, and you will see the basis of my talk this afternoon. It should not be difficult for any of my audience, therefore, to see that man was made to govern the world. If you are a Bible reader, you would clearly understand this. The entire Bible is, in essence and spirit, deals with governance from Genesis to Revelation, from Adam's day and time to this very day. But what is so important about governance and our government? Simply put, law and order. Law and order. It is interesting to note that in today's modern world, every moral law of every country can be traced right back to the Ten Commandments, which are found in Exodus chapter 20. I feel confident to say, therefore, governance and our government are from God. Now I'm going to read you the Ten Commandments, because lots of us think that we live in a simple world. But I say to you, no. We live in a world that was well ordained. We live in a world that was well organized. And this is why you hear us talk so much about the ecology, the economy, and all the rest of it. Going back now to Exodus chapter 20. God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. And I want you to look at that house of bondage. We celebrated our escape from bondage just last week. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. That's the first commandment. Thou shalt not make unto thyself any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto those who keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. For the Lord shall not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But on the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day, and hallowed it. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long on the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, their neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. And all the people say, the thunderings and the lightnings and the noise of the trumpet and the mountains smoking. And when the people saw it, they removed and stood afar off. And they said unto Moses, Speak thou with us, and we will hear. But let not God speak with us, lest we die. Ladies and gentlemen, I read those two passages of Scripture to show you that government is of God. From the very beginning, He set law and order so that we would understand that order is the prime factor in governance. That's why we make laws. That's why we appoint leaders and all the rest of it. And I go on, it is therefore right to say that any politician seeking a seat in the House of Assembly is seeking to do the will of God in much the same way as King David, Moses, and Aaron, or any politically elected leader in the world today. And it is my belief that all qualified citizens, including ministers of religion, have the constitutional rights to do so. That is to seek a place in the House. BB Islanders, your votes are sacred, and every qualified voter should vote in the upcoming elections. It is wrong for you to sell your votes for money or for other political favors. I cannot condemn you, however, for asking your political leaders for genuine monetary or other favors when it is necessary and important. But it's surely wrong to sell your votes for money or political favors. You are not only harming yourselves when you do this, but you are doing your entire country harm. Let your conscience be your guide. It is your God-given and constitutional rights to vote for the candidate of your own choosing. If you, the voters, are in need, you have the right to ask your leaders for help, even if it's monetary or otherwise. If any leader asks you for your vote simply because he or she gives or gave you money or other favors, then you should know that you should not vote for him or her on that behalf, because it's corruption and it is wrong against the leadership and the governance that God intended for us all to have. It is your constitutional and lawful right to vote for the candidates of your choosing. You do not have to tell anyone who you vote for. Just vote your conscience. Let your conscience be your guide. I believe that government is of God. Even the trees, even the planets are governed by God's good governance. Everything is ordered and orderly in the sight of God. So don't let corrupt politicians corrupt you any further. And don't corrupt politicians by going about your business in the wrong way. You have a right to get assistance from your elected representative, assistance of whatever kind is affordable. And it should not be considered as a payment for any vote. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to make this show now open, and I want you, the people, to be very active from now on. Speak out for what is right. Speak up against what is wrong. Do you realize that when a politician is elected, he makes an oath to Almighty God that he will carry out the duties conferred upon him by our Constitution through Her Majesty the Queen's government, and that which we the people have also placed upon them by way of voting for them. Ladies and gentlemen, I have been told on one occasion that if I were to run, I'll never win. I asked why. I was told by the then politician, because I speak the truth. So I said, what then do I have to do if I wish to run and get elected? You have to tell the people what they want to hear. If that is not hypocrisy, if that is not corruption, if that is not cheating, hypocrisy, what else can it be? Leadership is of God. And this is a Christian nation. And for that very cause, we should adhere to the dictates and direction of Almighty God. This show is open up. You may call and express your points of view. You may call and ask a question. If I can answer it, I will answer it. But again, going back to my topic for tonight, I've listened to many of the songs being sung in this festival, for this festival season. And many of them have gone back to corruption. Our leaders are corrupt. Our leaders have betrayed us. Our leaders are dishonest. Our leaders tell us what we want to hear. And that's the way it goes. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, that you are the bosses. You have the right to elect people who you want, people who you have the confidence in, people who you believe deep in your heart and through your conscience, people who will do that which is right for you and your fellow Beaverlanders. Politics can be dirty tricks, but government is of God. I'll say this as one of the favorite thoughts that ever come to my mind from the good book, where it is said, consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They toil not, neither do they spin. Yet not even Solomon in all his glory was as arrayed as one of these little lilies. Even the plants are governed by nature to the extent where they bear flowers, they reproduce of their kind. But above that, man controls them all. Man governs them all. Today, we hear a lot about global warming. But global warming is a matter of man's mistake in governance in terms of nature. We're going to take a break now, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll be right back with you. Please make your comments. This is your time to stand up. This is your time to speak. You don't have to tell anybody who you will vote for. We take a break now, ladies and gentlemen.
Want to save money and still maintain that style? Well, switch to Digicel, the bigger, better network. Buy a BlackBerry Curve 8520 for $99.99 and get 3 months free internet access on our selected plans. Digicel, the bigger, better network. Digicel terms and conditions apply.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're right back with you. We've been having some very good discussion with you. We've been making some very good comments, and we've been interacting one with the other. It's very important that we do that because this is the whole purpose of this show. I want to say, though, that I was expecting a great friend of mine to call tonight, but look like gone timid. I ain't timid, man. If you want to call and talk, I'm ready.
Okay, let's see if we have one more text here before you call. So, all young people have no future in our Virgin Islands. Without the youth, we have no future.
Mm-hmm.
And that speaks to, the fact that we should be building our young people.
But there's no question about that.
Mr. Maduro, what is going? Food selling at restaurant, not at the blah blah gas station. There is no law. So why we falling on our faces in Jolly Rogers asking for help? Labor needs some fire under their foot, and that working working for the people.
Well, it would not be the labor, I think it would be the what they call themselves, trade licensing department, because the restaurant, the gas stations would have to have a trade license that allows them to sell food.
We have a call.
So go ahead with the call.
Yeah, good evening. If you speak your mind, go right ahead, please.
Good evening, speak your mind. How are you guys doing?
We holding on.
We're doing fine.
You have a very important show, but still, how many of your topics have you guys fulfilled so far?
How many of our?
Could you
How
repeat?
many of your topics? You have a lot of topics there. You have labor, you have this. Does any of the things ever get fulfilled?
Well, we come here and we sit down and we listen to the community, and we're hoping by this dialogue. And of course, tonight for the first time we're also live on the internet. So we're hoping by this dialogue that people will wake up and become more conscious and take charge of the country.
And I'll tell you this, caller.
There's no other show that informs the people. All these other shows are all about nothing. You guys are really informing the island, but are you guys getting anywhere with this program? Speak Your Mind is getting anywhere at all? You accomplishing anything?
We don't know. We're trying. It's the people who got to say, what do you think?
I mean, every weekend is the same thing. You're talking about this, you're talking about labor, this, but what is there? Is there anything to the record? Are you helping these people for real?
We're dialoguing with the people, and if we have a responsible government...
Or is it just a talk show? What is it, just a talk show?
Well, all of them are talk shows. We're not the only talk show. We are not a government agency.
No.
We are not an agency of anybody. We're just here to make sure people can dialogue, and without good government, government would be listening to all of these things and making notes and records. And because this show is
why
not...
don't you guys try a live audience?
But caller, you're holding us to a very high standard.
No, let me answer this, man. What's your question?
He said we should try a live audience.
What do you mean a live audience?
This is a live audience.
We have a live audience to interact with the people.
This is not a pre-recorded show, and it's live on the internet.
And we're not going to change it for anything else. You see?
But you have a beautiful show. I hope you guys can solve some of those problems.
You'd be shocked to know how many people... Let me answer this, man. You, caller, you'd be shocked to know how many people met me during the August Festival and said to me, we have the best show. Unless they like it.
I'm going to lie to you. You have a nice show. I swear to God, you have a nice show. Every time I watch you guys, there's so many problems.
Well, let me ask you something. The people that get paid to do the things that we're discussing, do you hold them to the same high level that you're holding us?
Actually, the people who's really running the country, I think what's happening to the country is everybody's just gone loose. It seems like everybody's for themselves.
You're so true.
It's just like, everything is like...
You see now you strike a very good point by dialoguing with us.
Thing.
So that's the way we like to keep the show. We like to hear people express themselves.
Yes.
Mr. Maduro, you guys got a nice talk show, but the only thing is people are bringing a lot of problems for you guys to solve, and you guys can't do it. You got to go out and work with labor, work with this, there's so much. The supermarkets are doing what they could.
You know something? We used to have the people from government come on our show, but they don't come anymore.
Yeah.
We used
I know.
to invite them to come and talk about some of the issues.
That's what we always know is these things.
They don't want to come in.
The Labor Department should be on your program.
That's right.
You have some people from Labor there speaking to you at the same time.
Exactly.
Somebody, right? Invite them.
One night we had a show with the police, and let me tell you, the whole world was proud about that show.
Everybody.
Another night we had a show with the customs, and again the whole world. For the whole week, people were calling me and telling me what a great show it was.
You have a problem with the supermarket of selling food. Try to get some of these managers or something to come in and say something.
That would be good.
Bring them on your program.
You're making a very good
Bring in a
suggestion.
couple of labor departments. Bring in a couple of governments here. I'm sure they'd be glad to get on your program.
Right.
Discuss something. Not going to kill them. I mean, come on.
Just about 6 months ago, I spoke with the person in charge of the communication in government. And I said, how come you don't come on my show? You don't send anybody on my show.
You keep calling labor, and
and there are some people, though,
labor, nobody's showing up to talk to you.
There are some people who believe that. There are some people who believe that government shouldn't come on these shows, but that government should, because government doesn't pay for the show and they shouldn't hog up the show, they shouldn't utilize the show. But other people like yourself realize the importance of having government agencies on the show.
Right.
At least they should come and refute. They should come and refute anything that is not correct.
Right.
Right. They should come and discuss. You know, let the people know how you speak to them themselves. Have a little confidence.
Have a dialogue.
There are things like development of land and the physical planning board. They need to come on this show and explain to the people what is required of them.
They need to do that. But no, they want to sit back and
everybody wants to sit back and don't serve. They don't serve the people.
Behind the curtain.
Well, an important election is coming up now, and also the people who are vying for the House of Assembly, they should be able to address all these issues themselves to the public.
Right, have the chance to prove their point. Now, you're right. Have the chance to speak their mind. You're right.
Yes.
This is the time for them to speak their mind.
Exactly. Exactly.
Nobody knew who you are. You can vote, and nobody knew who you are.
Exactly.
That's right. Anyway,
we need to go out and do that.
Anyway,
gentlemen.
Thanks for your call.
If I had $10 million, I give you guys 5.
Oh, look, that's nice. So we could expand the show.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, if I had 10, I give you 5.
Okay, right. Thank you for your offer.
Thanks very much for your call.
You too, guys. Take it easy.
Thanks again.
We have another call.
We have another call, yeah. Put that call through, please.
Yes, good evening. If you speak your mind, go right ahead, please.
Yes, guys. Yes, me again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Ask you all a question. Why when a person, right, work for government and they violate or they get into trouble with and things like that, they'll lose the job and can't get back a government job. I don't know what it is. And here, people violate and they want to run for election. You think how the smaller person can get back the job in government, and you, as voters, want to vote in people who violate the government? You think that right? If I do something on government, you think I should get the privilege to solve the government again?
Courtney, he's touching a point that
in a government.
Somebody texted earlier, caller, and one of the things they asked, why was a man or woman who is convicted to prison? Remember we had that?
Yes.
Why should they be allowed to run for office? But the truth is, the Constitution says, if you are not imprisoned for 6 months, for 1 year or more, as long as the punishment is under a year, you can run again for election. So I wanted to make that clear to the audience.
That is in accordance with the Constitution.
I understand the Constitution, yes, but when you look at it, the person who do the small, whether he thief or rum or thief or he can't get back a government job. I mean, that's injustice.
That may be so, but there's some people who do things in government and they're still working for government.
Yeah.
So it goes both ways.
It's not what you do. It's not what you do, it's who you are.
It's who you are.
It's who you could pull strings with.
Let me ask you a question. At what age government retire you?
I think
It's
retirement
supposed to be
age is
60.
60.
Huh?
60 or 65?
It's supposed to be 60.
60, okay?
Yes.
And they have some people that say no more leave. And we as voters want to be voting for ministers who would pass that.
Be careful now, be careful. We don't want to age discriminate, right?
No, but what I'm saying, if you could send me home early, as we as voters could do the same thing.
Well, Carl, I'll tell you something. I'm not afraid or ashamed to say this. I was a chief immigration officer 20 years. And because I would not abuse a man from Bermuda to satisfy the governor, I was taken to court. Virtually taken to court. They pretended took the young man to court, but it's me they wanted to embarrass. And I would never forget Magistrate Alexander when he told him that I had a lot of power. I acted, and I acted right. Lots of things happen in the government on the basis of who you are. They wanted me to recommend that the governor deport a man who had done nothing for the time he was here.
Melvin.
That equaled him to be deported. And all we could search and inquire in the rest of the world, we couldn't find anything that he did. But because I wouldn't do what the governor said, which was against the law, my own people, the deputy governor and others, made sure I got out of immigration.
You got retired.
And I'm not afraid of saying that. It is still happening. But you still have that deputy governor in a big position today. And it was crooked for him to try to do what he did to me. As a matter of fact, I went to see the governor. And when the whole thing came, I thought I went to see the governor. It's the deputy governor who got up and said, oh, your ministry said that you don't carry out the wishes of the minister. We have a thing on record saying so. And thank God the PS was there to tell him that he was lying. There was no such thing on my records. And I'm telling you, there are lots of corruption going on in government today. So would that help you now in telling you why certain things happen?
Yeah, but then come around again. Then these same ministers, the pastors have them on pulpit every time and Sunday time.
Okay.
You understand?
Yep.
And we say we is Gandhi, Christian, community, which I always will say so. But it's only with word, but not by heart.
Now I'm going to tell you something with that case I was just mentioning to you. When you saw the deportation order on that man, he would have had the right to go to court and show that the reason we were deporting him was not valid. So you wouldn't have been able to deport him, but they had me embarrassed. You understand what I'm saying? And they thought I was a fool.
Well,
And I was retired. We're talking about retirement now. And when they were trying to knock me about and push me about, I said, look, would you retire me early?
well,
I was retired from 50 years old because of corrupt, wicked government behavior.
So we are two
Well, let us
retirees.
tell you all why people don't call in. They got a lot of people. They say they meet from here and they keep it out. And you know, sometimes local people say keep out of eating. And that's what you see today.
But Carla,
People
it's
is not voicing their opinion because of this kind of thing.
Yeah, man, you raise a very good point tonight. And government can be corrupt when it wants to be.
Yeah.
And you know why they were trying to deport that man? Because one of his best friend, who was a good friend to the governor, wanted him out of here.
Okay.
But Carla, in a deeper area that we're probably not touching on, this colonial system that we're dealing with, or what's left of the colonial system in these portions in government are able to do things to other people, and you can't really pinpoint the individual who is doing it sometimes.
So if you think government is nice, Barry, say it here.
Well, as y'all on this topic, I was listening to talk about the immigration and the government have to look at who give belongers and who I think to governor.
Oh, you heard that?
Like they were talking about the status, naturalization, and who to get and who to get.
Yes.
The governor has the power.
And where they say the how I call it?
The cabinet.
The cabinet have to look at it. Now, if them guys see my name,
They ain't gonna do nothing.
who always on the radio, speaking out, Then I said, don't give him none here, NDP. He's at this, he's always on the radio.
His Excellency has the power to give anybody he wants naturalization. It's as simple
but
as
this
that.
is the guy who was going.
You understand what I just said to you?
You understand what you're saying? But
His
this,
Excellency has the power to naturalize anybody. The cabinet can't stop him.
but what
Under certain conditions, he can do it.
Who's supposed to get?
I'll tell you something else the governor could do. The governor could give a man 2-3 different passports if he would send him somewhere on a security business. But a lot of people don't know that. I learned that when I was in England on an immigration course. The governor has tremendous powers. Okay?
And
Yeah,
call,
so that's what you see people.
And Carla, while you're on human relation issues, you must also realize that we have some people who are acting in the government for all 6-8 years now, acting position. And that is another way of keeping our people down. You put them in an acting position for year and year and year from one government to another government.
From one government to the other.
But we can't continue to do that.
But let me tell you this, Courtney. Okay? You know what really going on here in this place? We, as people, know a lot of wrong that be going on and we don't speak out.
You're
So
afraid to speak out, and
continue.
you just said the reason why. Because we are afraid of victimization. Right? Am I right?
Yeah.
We are afraid of victimization. You stand up to speak for your rights, and instead of getting your rights, you get more wrongs.
Yeah, because look at this. It have a man who give me a thing that he used to speak out, and because he speak out, people get vexed with him. You know, so as again, I had to tell him, man, you're free to speak. I live here. They go tell me from here.
Not only that, when you speak out, you might give somebody else more courage to speak.
And me afraid to speak. You got certain things people afraid to touch.
And
I mean, till everything I got touch.
Yeah.
You understand?
I can tell you something. About 2 years before I asked for retirement, the United States Embassy came from Antigua here on a boat, a warship, just to see me because of how I used to work with them. She invited His Excellency the Governor, the Deputy Governor, the Commissioner of Police, the Comptroller of Customs, and a couple others.
Yes.
And I never forgot when Shirley Shanahan got up on board that ship. And she said, I called this little luncheon here today for one reason, and one reason only. And it's because when I was on my tour of duty in Antigua, I could take up my telephone, call a man in Tortola, and my problems are all solved in 5 minutes. And she said, that man is Mr. Edmund Maduro. And up to now, that same governor, that same deputy governor, never said, Mr. Maduro, we are proud to hear that. So when you have enemies, no matter how good you do, it doesn't help you.
It wouldn't be good enough.
Now imagine she came from all the way Antigua on the ship here to tell me that.
Okay, before I leave here, I have to tell Courtney and you, right? When our people get in some position, we have to act as professional and serious and don't play around with our profession.
Yes,
And don't play around with the children's future.
that's
And
right.
Sometimes when we get a chance, we drop the ball and our job.
Yes,
That's true.
Because when sometimes they put us in some position where we're supposed to deal with, we play with it and don't show people that we're capable.
But let me show you something. Right here in government, I said this one, the one before each other. They like to employ people who are patsies, who will do what they want
You have to explain to him what Patsy is.
instead of doing what the law requires, doing what administration requires. A patsy is, if let's put it this way, you have a minister, he don't like Courtney,
Yes, man.
but he has a permanent secretary who is prepared to give Courtney all the hell in the world up to send him home from a government job. You understand what happens?
Yes, and I think that person who doing that should not play with the job.
Not only that, if the minister don't want to see you succeed in your business, he gets his patsy, permanent secretary and whoever else to make sure your business fail. You understand what I'm saying?
Understand what
I
you're
have
saying?
seen those things happening in the BVI, and some of them are still happening.
And it's these is what create things why you don't want to happen in the place.
Exactly.
A lot
You
of,
know,
a lot of
which I always
animosity.
say- Which I always say, we privilege have ministers who can go about their daily life without bodyguard.
Riot.
No, I ain't excited by it. I just tell you the truth. This is the thing. What does thing people when you play with people's emotion? You understand? I am trying to because when you see things happen in the States, you want to know why it happened, but there's reason. You know, I tell you, I don't want it happening. I love BVI and I don't like crime rate and so here in the place.
Right.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
But we have to be careful in the things and
You're correct. We have to be careful that
Of course.
we not do what we're supposed to do, but what our perception
But let
that
me
we
show
send
you
out
this.
is also clear.
You see what happened to ocean conversion? You think that is fair?
No,
A company in which BVI lenders have $20 million invested and were doing a better job than you have now. And our government of the day secretly went and negotiated with another company and brought them here in spite of how people objected because of the standing of that same company. They still gave them the people's work, which is against the labor code.
Then our people, our own people, which I continue saying, that I went down other Caribbean country, see that majority of the land down there belongs to government.
Yes.
So when I come up here and I see that the people in the Tatola are so privileged to have this land belongs to them, and to agree.
You remember?
For a minister to give it out
You might remember.
against their own people.
Right. You might remember. But shortly
understand?
after Bradshaw died,
And people supporting this thing here
Right.
and agree and glad and laughing at it.
shortly after Bradshaw died, there was a Barbadian who was in the government during Bradshaw time for quite a while. And they turned around and kicked him out just because he wasn't born in St. Kitts.
Okay. You know, and then we're saying that support your own and think your own, and you smiling.
But strictly
to kill
speaking,
your
that's what the law is. The law gives BVI lander the preference to employment and business. But when you find your own elected representatives are going to deny you that, they're betraying you.
Yeah.
But they're doing it because they have support behind them.
I don't want to say what it looks like, but something is wrong.
But I gonna hang up and I gonna leave somebody car.
Carl, thank you.
All right.
Thank you for your call.
Thank you for your call, though. But Edmund, he just brought me to speak about an issue with the newspapers and the online people that run the news. And I think that someone needs to pay attention to the way how they're wording a lot of the advertisements for labor.
Oh, yes.
Because some of them would say British Virgin Islanders or Belonger preferred. As sort of like a catch-all phrase, but it doesn't really speak to what the law really refers to. You know, the law basically, if I would paraphrase it, the law basically says, look, you could bring in somebody to do the job, but you should have in mind to have that person replaced by a Virgin Islander.
Of course. There are a number of jobs in the BVI that should be replaced by Virgin Islanders.
Yes,
but the fact is the Department of Labor being efficient enough to accomplish that?
And to manage it.
And to manage it.
Because it needs management.
Yeah.
Okay? And I think one way might help is if they would number the advertisements so that they can...
I remember saying on my show radio, I'm not going to call names now, but when I was Chief Immigration Officer, a company was bringing in 4 workers and sending home 4 BVI landers. The same work they were sending home the BVI landers from doing, they were bringing in 4 new people to do. When they came to my office and they complained, they were firing them that same day for the people who were coming in the same day. Now look how ridiculous it was, without proper notice. So I took the phone up. I called the manager. I said, are you bringing in 4 new employees today? Yes. I said, are you dismissing 4 BYU landers who are supposed to be doing the same job? Yes. I said, let me tell you something. They're here in my office now. I'm sending them back to you. And I said, if you don't reinstate them immediately, as soon as your 4 new people come in this afternoon, I will be putting them back on the plane. Now, you had a very ineffective Labor Department then too.
Yeah.
Because they should never have done that.
Yes. That's true.
So these are some of the problems we're facing.
Yeah.
It's not that you hate anybody.
Yeah.
It's not that you dislike any company. But you are employed to be a labor commissioner. You are employed to be a chief immigration officer.
And you should have
you must understand the law you're enforcing and enforce it.
And you should have that law right in front of you.
Exactly.
Looking at and
every
working the law.
You do, you must make sure it complies with the law.
Complies with the law. Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
As simple as that. And you can't, and nobody could fault you for that.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I'm very disappointed in the advertisements that I see because
yeah, some of them are atrocious.
Yeah, and
I was reading a couple of them now with some 5-star hotel what they want to accomplish and like trying to knock everybody else. But you need an efficient labor officer.
We have a call.
Yeah.
Right. Good evening. You're free speaking mind. Go right ahead, please.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello. Good night.
Good night.
I was calling to make a comment concerning the people that are in government that are in acting positions.
Yes.
I can't speak for all of those positions, but I could speak for the one that I work with on a daily basis, and I could tell y'all, I see why some of them are acting. It's like they're putting band-aids, or these people, some of them, they're like fillers until they can do better. The person that I work closely with, she abuses her position. She throws her weight around. She discusses things that should be left confidential in the office, outside the office.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I could see why in some cases they're left as acting and not given the full title.
Yes.
Because some of them really and truly can't handle that position.
Okay.
You know? The
Yes.
integrity is I don't even know what to say because I see them as a filler until better can be done.
I see your point.
Some of them are warranted the position. You know, they can't take it. I don't know what the reason is if they lacked it after X amount of years. But in some instances, some of them need to remain acting until better can be done.
Well, thank you for your comments. So obviously you have said that entirely, while it appears to be wrong, it is appropriate. That's what you're saying?
The person already gone.
Well, thank you for your call.
But,
and you do have a strong view. And Courtney.
But one of the things, Edmund, that we also have to be mindful of is not to, to slight someone or to disenfranchise someone. And I think that is one of the reasons.
You see,
why
Courtney, when you
when
boil it all down to the nitty-gritty, it comes to human rights.
Yes.
Here somebody comes in before you, regardless of who they are. They have equal rights like you and me under the Constitution, under international laws.
Yeah.
And when such a person comes to you, we must be cognizant and we must recognize those rights.
And we must
make sure we are put there to protect those rights of that person.
And to treat the people fairly and just.
So whether they're from Bermuda or wherever they're from.
Yeah. And by the I'm glad you're raising that, Edmund, because by contrary, we bring people here and they have appointments waiting for them by the airport.
Yes.
And all local people, regardless of their qualification or the reason why you don't want to give them the job, you have them acting for 4 or 5 years.
Your point is strong. So in spite of the call we just had, I know the point you're raising.
But the duality is blinding.
Yeah.
It's blinding. And
well, no, you have people complaining too, Courtney, and I would be unfair if I don't say this.
Well, why?
You have people complaining that in the government offices now, there are non-BYU landers holding positions that BYU landers should hold.
I've heard that complaint,
And I'm hearing it every day.
Yeah. And you're also hearing that there's some people in the government services who don't show up to work.
Exactly.
And they get paid.
And they get paid.
You know, so somebody, what we used to say in another job where I was at, we used to say, well, somebody is punching the cat for them.
You see, it reminds me of a book I read. I think it's Hood Phillips. It's called Constitutional and Administrative Law. They're two different things. The administrative law are made under the Constitution,
Right.
but your constitutional law are supreme.
Yes.
So, we have any more texts?
We have a couple here. It says here, so a text that came in, said, why shouldn't a gas station not sell food? It happens in so many other major countries. That's, you know, a text that came in. We are in hurricane season. If we get hit hard, we are likely to see looting, as this has happened in so many other countries. I hope there are contingency plans. Well, one of the contingency plans that come to mind is the greenhouses, whether or not they're prepared to take off the material that they have on it if we have a hurricane, because it will just be blown off.
You have to take it off.
Well,
And you got to make up to lose whatever inside it.
well, I don't know if that's going to happen. Good evening. You've reached Speak Your Mind. Go right ahead, please.
Hello?
Hello,
Yes.
Hello.
Mr. Edmond.
Yes, sir.
I would like us to revisit this high electricity bill.
Beg
Yes,
pardon?
sir. The
Yes.
high electricity bill.
Have you ever given any consideration? to the fact
Just
that the
today,
government
just today,
cooperation-
just today, a friend of mine and
Hello?
myself, just today, a friend of mine and myself were talking about the same thing. Why should the surcharge be equal or more than the real watts that you consume? And
Yes,
something
I
is
wanna
wrong.
believe-
Something
I
is
wanna
wrong.
believe it because the government owed the corporation several million dollars and wouldn't pay them. So this is the only way they could get their money so that they could get salary and pay their bills.
Oh, let me understand that. You said the corporation owes the supplier
The
of the fuel.
government owed the corporation.
Oh, the electricity. Oh, the electricity corporation. Let's get it clear. The government owes the electricity corporation. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying to you, the government.
Man, look, it's simple. The government owes the electricity corporation. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
Millions of
okay.
dollars.
That's all I'm trying to find out. So if that is the case, then I see what you mean, but that's a serious thing, boss.
I'm saying to you that need to be looked into because
Of
we can't
course.
be paying the government bills.
In some nearby countries, there was here, you know, that because of the recession and how bad the finances are in the country, the government side fit to remove the fuel surcharge from the bills of the people.
Yeah, but that not apply here. What happening here is that the government wouldn't pay. That's why the multicultural center had to get cut off several times.
You mean they're cutting off government departments?
And then the minister them telling them hook them back up.
Well, yes. If I were the minister, I'd tell them who can back up. It's a
Yeah, but
government
then
service.
what happened? What about you? If you can't. The minister can tell you. hook
I'm
him
not
back
saying
up.
that what they're doing to me is right, but no government office should be cut off because of the electricity bill.
You will pay the bill.
Huh?
Pay the bill them.
No, I don't care what
Well-
anybody says. I can't see anybody cutting off a government office
We'll call it sound
because
like
it's the people you're cutting off anyhow.
It'll call it sound like you were saying that we should stop doing some of the unnecessary things that we're doing and pay the bills.
Yeah, exactly. You understand what I'm saying?
No, that's where you're correct. That's where you're absolutely correct. We're doing a lot of other things that we should not be doing. And we're
can't
leaving
continue
undone
to
a lot of
support
things that we
these
should do.
Unnecessary project they're doing all
Yeah,
over the place.
I agree with you, Carla, with that.
Yeah, I think they need to look into it. I can't be carrying the government lead.
You are right. I agree with you 100%.
Oh, God.
Okay,
All right.
boss.
Thank you for your contribution.
Courtney, they're calling us to wrap up.
They're calling us to wrap up, Edmund, so we're going to have to do that. I see we have one more text that came
One
in
more
here. Let's
text?
see what it says. I had the VIP is grooming Fraser for the office of the premier. Is that true? We wouldn't know about that. You would have to check with the thing. Good night, gentlemen. Because of fearfulness and lack of knowledge, people do not speak about their problems, such as abusiveness from employment. That is true. However, he must break the silence, and we must encourage you to break the silence. Good evening, you're free to speak your mind. Go right ahead, please. Please turn your television set down.
Please turn your TV down.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, my question is, why is it on election day that are present at the polling station? In my opinion, that should not be.
Why what?
Because it either influences the voter or intimidates the voter.
Why on the election day what?
Why on election day they have politicians at the polls? Because she's saying it either influences them or intimidates the voter.
No, when you go into the booth, they don't have to know who you're voting for.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really make a difference. You understand me?
Yeah.
When you go in the poll, you go in there, you go in alone.
One of the reasons why supporters are usually there, though, is some of them do their own tallying and their own counting of who they feel are with them.
Right.
Right. But
not only that, the candidates have a right to be there to make sure that the polling goes on fairly.
Yeah, in a democratic way.
In a democratic way.
Yeah.
You understand, caller?
Mm-hmm. And,
hello, you left us
no,
already?
she already left. But
Yeah.
Edmund, I think we need to have a show just talking about election issues, you know, where the nomination day,
right.
Where the polling stations are going to be,
right.
You know, the various things concerning elections itself. I think we should have a meeting when,
but that's why the candidates are allowed to be there. To satisfy themselves that the election was fair and free.
Yeah, and that the other candidate isn't holding people's hand and making them vote for them.
Right.
Yeah. So we've been asked to
there's not supposed to be any unfair or questionable connection between the candidates and the voter. In other words, he's not to be seen as if he's telling them what to do. He's just there to make sure that the voting goes correctly. We're going to need to wrap up.
Yeah. Well, we had a number of texts that we probably wouldn't get to tonight, I tell you, Edmund, but we had a wonderful show, I think.
You think so?
Yes, I think we had a wonderful show. We had a lot of interaction from the public.
Yeah, man.
We had a number of persons that contributed to the show in a number of ways. Of course, tonight was a first for us.
Yes.
We're live, jtvlive.net, and we will continue to be in that vein from now on, I understand. We started out talking some things. You made your opening remarks and stuff like that, and we
primarily on the same topic of voting.
On the same topic of voting,
right?
I made some comments about know your district and that kind of stuff.
I wonder if they want us to take that one.
Let's take this last one. Yeah. Good evening. We're taking the last call. Go right ahead, please.
Yes. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, caller.
We're doing fine.
Okay. Sorry it wasn't in June at first, but I'm here now at the last, nevertheless. I'm from the 9th district as usual, and I want the people to know that there comes a time. Right now, currently, there is a function at the basketball court, and there's like all the at-large representatives. Finally, they are all here at one time, and all this supposed candidates, including the incumbent. It is good and wonderful to see them tonight, but for my people, I want to remind you that these people don't feel the aches that you feel. They don't see what you see daily. And I want to remind my people that when you go to the polls on election day, I want you to remember the people that rallies with you, the people that are there with you.
When you need it.
When you need, you keep interjecting that from the last show, you continue to say that.
Yes.
I want to make a point here. Every district have their representative.
Right.
And if you go to the 4th district, where does the representative live? The 2nd district, where does he live? The 3rd district, where does he live? The 4th district, where does he live? I could go down the line, but I want to bring this to the attention of the persons in the 9th district, one of the bigger districts and one of the fundamental, the fundraising districts. I want our people to know that for real representation, we need people who we see every day, people who we can interact with, not only by paying about $40 to go to Tola to look for them, but those people that live with us and feel our bodies. I'm making a special little appeal here. Give me a chance.
You're making a very valid point.
I'm making a special appeal here.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen of the 9th District, I am offering this constituency real representation. I am not saying that the incumbent cannot represent the district. However, the incumbent is currently the premier, and it's a big load to carry. I am therefore volunteering and putting forward myself to the use of the public to represent them in the upcoming election. And to those people who going around think that this is a joke or this is a political ploy, let them forget about it. Because come registration day, come nomination day, I will be on that ballot, and I am appealing to my people to vote conscious. Not just vote for a favor to cut grass or to cut bush. Vote conscious. Vote a representative who will address your issues. My people, I am here for real.
But would you care saying who you are?
Yes, I don't mind saying who I am.
Because you're making a public statement. Are you actually making
I am. And my name is Rudel Samuel O'Neill. Registered in the 9th electoral district. And I think there comes the time when I will stand up with my people, represent my people, and therefore give adequate representation to the district that badly needs so much attention. Later on, I would like to elaborate on the areas that I would address if given the opportunity to represent these people. Ladies and gentlemen, 90% of you know who I am, because you see me every day. You speak with me every day. And I'm making a special appeal to you now, and I will be with you. This is no joke. This is no political tactic. So all who have that in their mind, come nomination day, the name will be on the ballot. Thank you very much, Mr. Maduro.
All right, caller.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
So, thank you. Well, we are at the point now where we're going to close.
We have to wrap up
we
the
got
show.
to wrap up.
Yeah. Like I was going down the list, I was saying that we spoke about government expenditure. We were able to talk a bit about that. We talked about people who were married to British Virgin Islanders and are still not being given the belonger status in accordance with the Constitution. We were able to talk about the Attorney General position, which is being advertised now, and the fact that the 2007 Constitution actually speaks about the Attorney General being a Virgin Islander. We
put in true calls.
we're going to take this last call now. Yeah, good evening. We have to take a last call because we're wrapping up. Please go ahead. Be short.
Mr. DiCasio.
Yeah.
What are you saying?
Go right ahead. Go right ahead, my brother.
Rude man here.
Mm-hmm.
But we come Mr. Malone position, keep acting, and he still can't get a job. He got all the qualified people and everything, still can't get a job.
Yes, my brother. I hear you loud and clear. What we understand that position may be being reconsidered. We're hoping so, because this is another example where we are told that you have to have qualifications, and then when you get the qualification, they say you have to have experience, and then when you have the qualification and the experience, they say you have to know something else, and you have to know something else, and we keep on.
All of that.
We keep on moving the goalposts.
So which post this is?
This is the TRC.
Oh.
where we have someone qualified right now. No, we have 2 people qualified. And we're still in the business of importing persons for these positions.
Well,
and you're quite correct, Carla.
It's good to make
we need to stop this type of behavior.
Right.
And we need to look out for our own people, and we need to employ our own people. Mm-hmm. It is our money. It is our taxes. It is our money. And who is better to look out for our interests than our own people?
But on the night, you're talking about one's rights.
And also our rights. We have a right to be employed.
Right.
One of the rights of the Constitution.
A government must demonstrate that more clearly than anybody else.
Than anybody else in the country. We have a right to employ, and we have a right to be gainfully employed. I think is what the Constitution says.
Well, Carla, it's nice that you raised that issue.
Thank you for calling,
and
thanks for raising that issue, because although we know what's going on, some people still turn a deaf ear.
Right.
So thank you very much. All right.
Thank you, Carla. Yes, sir.
So we've talked about the prices, the food prices, and all that stuff. And one guy told us if he had $200 million, he was going to give us some. But we know he means well, but I don't think he have the money.
He ain't got the first one.
No. So all in all, Edmund, we were able to talk about the advertisements as well that go out, and we were hoping that they would keep in tune with the Constitution and the Labor Department, because we need to be more conscious about it.
Last words, Scott.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Let me read this again.
Yeah.
The more I listen, the more I hear the words deceitful, liars, frauds, cheaters, hypocrites. But most commonly of all, I hear the words white envelopes. Mm-hmm. Beaverlanders, your votes are some of your most important and precious jewels. I admonish you to use them wisely. None of us is perfect. We all have the same common needs of air, water, food, and shelter. To satisfy our needs, we must all work hard. We live in a world that is divided up into many independent nations and many dependencies. The Bear is not an independent nation. Although we are a territory under the United Kingdom, we still, except for security and defense, a self-governing people. What is so important about governing? Every country, state, territory, or dependency must be governed if its people are to be successful. Government is truly not a new world order or system. It is God's right. It goes right back to the beginning of time. If you go back to my most favorite psalm, you will find Psalms 8 explains it well. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to finally close up now, Courtney. Is that it?
Yeah.
And we want to thank you for such a wonderful show.
We had a wonderful show.
And to let you know, we appreciate your contribution here tonight.
Yes.
And we wish the gentleman could get the $200 million and pass on one to us.
Yeah. So we can
promote and push this program a little more. Yeah. And also the interests of the people of the British Virgin Islands.
And on that note, Edmund, I'd like to say God bless these Virgin Islands and the people that live in it, and we will see you again next week.